Good evening and thank you for joining us on 13 Plus. I'm Mary Coleman. Hope you are having a great week so far. Well, it's a problem we have continued to tell you about. High-speed chases and human smuggling incidents in Cochise County, putting many lives at risk. In this week's Crime Files, we sit down with the sheriff who gets candid about his frustrations with the fact that little seems to be being done by lawmakers. We show you scenes like this, what seems like multiple times a week. Cochise County Sheriff's Office's Operation Safe Streets Task Force pulling over smugglers, many traveling at dangerously high speeds through the county and many carrying multiple migrants.
We've always had a roller coaster of border security challenges. Don't get me wrong, we've had good years, we've had bad years, we've had average years. But where we're at today is just unmanageable. And the difference is the lack of engagement, the lack of acknowledgement, and the lack of prioritization out of Washington, D.C.
It's something Cochise County Sheriff Mark Daniels says has become a crisis, a concern that he has taken to D.C. on multiple occasions asking for help. But he feels it's fallen on deaf ears.
We've politicized our border for all the wrong reasons. 10% is a bad year for us when it comes to border-related crimes. And we can gauge that through our jail incarceration from the jail for border-related. But usually 5–10%. We've seen maybe a little higher over the years, but nothing to what it is today. Last year, we ranged all the way up to 44% of people in our jail were border-related.
In 28 months, Cochise County booked 3,366 people into the jail. Sheriff Daniels says most of those committing the crimes are U.S. citizens.
Only 190 were illegally in the country. The rest were all U.S. citizens coming to Cochise County to commit some kind of international crime. So when I say a connection, they come down here in a stolen car. They're wanted, they're fugitive, they have drugs in the car, illicit guns or prohibited possessors, or they're fair to yield from us after they've already picked up drugs or people, or they're part of trafficking.
But it's the issues at the border that he feels are leading to the influx.
Because right now you can run up to any Border Patrol agent, law enforcement, and say, I'm here, I give up, I'm on U.S. soil, and there's a high probability you're going to stay. We all know that, talk to the agents.
The sheriff says many of those being smuggled into the country have serious criminal records.
And there's over 2 million right now that have got away in this country. That should be alarming to anybody. 9/11 taught us a lesson, but if we forget that lesson, we're in trouble in this country.
And the sheriff's frustration continues with what he calls inaction and lack of communication.
I really wish, I know this is probably unrealistic, that President Biden or Secretary Mayorkas or Vice President Harris, our border czar, and every member of Congress would get their butts down here and ride with us. Come ride a night with us and you walk away and say, wow, we're doing all right. That won't happen, I promise you. No, we watch the news just like you to figure out what might happen on our border. Tell me that is a good way of doing business and protecting communities. It's not.
We will have more from Sheriff Daniels tonight on 13 News Live at 10. We hope you will join us for that. But first, let's get to our second story for this evening. As we know, prisons are designed to keep people and contraband out. But our national investigative team found how drones are being used to avoid security and the consequences those deliveries have on communities.
The fight against contraband in U.S. prisons isn't a new one for the Department of Corrections.
But criminals are now taking to the skies using drones to deliver their drugs, tobacco, cell phones, even video game consoles. And if you don't think that this could affect your family, think again. School officials in a quiet southeastern Virginia town are thankful a child didn't find this. A drone carrying cannabis and tobacco accidentally landed on school property. Its intended destination, a nearby correctional center.
3 pounds of marijuana landing on school grounds is pretty scary. It's something you would, I guess, see made for TV, really, to think about drones flying into a prison and dropping off bundles of drugs and things is something I haven't personally experienced in my 25 years.
The U.S. Department of Justice says nationwide the number of drone contraband drops doubled from 106 in 2021 to 212 incidents in 2022. The department just started tracking contraband drone drops in 2020 when it saw 94 incidents. 21st century tech, allowing more criminals to get creative. Drones have a long list of uses, from stunning videography to search and rescue. But now, in the hands of criminals, they're used to get contraband into jails and prisons. Contraband like cannabis, meth, tobacco, and weapons. And cell phones, which the FBI says allows inmates to keep control of their gangs and drug operations in the outside world.
Sent to prison, they think, okay, they're behind bars, we're safe as a society, but that's no longer the case with technology. With these cell phones and these drones, they are still able to victimize South Carolinians and other folks around the country.
In Southeast Georgia, a Smith State Prison employee and whistleblower says you'd be shocked at the criminal operation inside its walls. On top of the usual drugs and cell phones, drones delivering things like high-end shoes and clothes, even video game consoles. But those are used for more than fun. The whistleblower, who doesn't want to be identified for their safety, says the inmates use the consoles to hack into the prison's internet, to navigate drones to make drops over the prison fences.
What was coming in the drones was the hard contraband, the drugs, the cell phones, the throw over the fences, all that type of stuff. That was what that was.
The staff member says extreme short staffing has helped inmates run their operation with hardly any worry about getting caught, and some officers are fearful to investigate.
We are allowed to do what the inmates allow us to do. We go home every day by the grace of the inmates.
In Ohio, watch as a jail inmate gets a delivery from a drone. The inmate can be seen watching the skies before the drop. Although the drone missed its mark, the inmate was able to collect the package. The sheriff's office says it contained cannabis and a cell phone. Back in South Carolina, the State Department of Corrections spent $250,000 for drone detection technology in 2022. But Director Brian Sterling says drops are getting more sophisticated.
We'll send a decoy in, and we'll chase that decoy because we have systems in place that alert us to drones in the area, and we'll chase that, and then they send two in from another side, drop their load, and take off.
Sterling says he wants Congress to take action to restrict cell phone service, which drones usually run on near prisons and jails.
Look, this is a war. Just like any war, you do something and there's a counter. We'll do something, they'll do something. It's not going to stop. They're not going to stop trying to get this contraband in, and we're not going to stop. It's a constant battle. It's daily for us, but it's something that we take very seriously.
At least 7 U.S. states have taken action, making drone piloting near prisons and jails a crime. The Federal Aviation Administration banned flying drones over prisons in 2018. In the case of the prison employee who spoke anonymously, our team has yet to hear back from.
We will leave you with a live picture overlooking the Tucson area today. Things are looking gorgeous out there. For those of you who got some storms, hope everything is going well. You're safe. You haven't seen any of the damage. But again, be sure to join us for 13 News Live at 10 for your latest forecast. And again, we'll have more from Sheriff Daniels on the story you heard a little bit about this evening. Have a great night. And again, we'll see you live on 13 News Live at 10.